Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. I'm TCaptainX. It is 1:21 in the morning, and I'm recording this video because I wanted to get you guys the meta in Warzone Black Ops 6. We have been up literally all day and all night testing the gun damage profiles and ranges and all that stuff so that we can get you guys what the actual meta is in Warzone and not just be some YouTuber saying, it's the meta, bro, trust me. No, we actually know what the meta is. So we are on our website, ggs.ai. If you've been watching my content, you've probably heard about our website. We made this last year, but it got a complete total revamp. It is a massive upgrade and overhaul. And if you, whether you are a free user or a premium user, there are tons more features for everyone here. So I wanted to first jump into the SMG, so the close range guns TTK here. And as you can see, the Jackal in the blue line is the fastest TTK at basically kind of all ranges for SMGs up to about 22 meters. The Jackal is probably going to be the best overall SMG in the game for right now. After that, we've got kind of a cluster here with all the other guns. We've got the C9 at 656 milliseconds, the Compact at 660, PP Bison or the PP919 at 672, the KSV at 675, and then the Tonto in last at 680 milliseconds. If we scroll up a little bit, we also have this cool visualization of the time to kill. Now, this is a weighted time to kill, which just means it's factoring in things like the recoil and the range drop-offs of these guns to give you an actual, what can you expect for the time to kill? Now, the coolest tool on this website I want to show you guys is the Versus Simulator. What this does is it takes these guns and it puts them head to head. So it's going to run 1,000 simulations with these different guns, and it takes different health, whether or not you have to apply your aim down sight speed time, your sprint to fire time, what distance the fight is at, where your shots land, and it's going to run different simulations, and we can keep rerunning this, and we're going to get different results here. So right now, the Bison's actually winning a lot. If we keep running this, it'll usually swap around here. Jackal's kind of coming up and down here, and this isn't perfect. We're gonna have to play around with this and tweak this because our parameters have changed since the new game and the stats have changed, but this is such a cool tool, and over the next few days and weeks we're gonna get this really dialed in to be an incredibly strong, accurate tool of knowing what's the best loadout to use in Warzone. We can also change this for small map or big map because big map's gonna factor in different ranges. Lots of other different things to look at. We've got bullet velocities. This is a recoil chart here. So as you can see, the Compact in red, worst recoil, but the Bison in purple, it's got the best accuracies at range. So if you're looking for a lower recoil gun, you want to pick guns that are going to place higher on the accuracy chart. We've got firepower. This shows a visualization of bullet velocity here. We've got damage per mag. So the Bison and the Tonto have amazing damage per mag. Jackal is quite solid as well. If you get a DPM chart to see which, guns that are better in solos versus guns that are better in quads. So the Bison and the Tonto are going to be really good in trios and quads for that reason. Again, lots more different stats with different ratings to look at here. Then we've got mobility. This is going to give you a visualization of how long it takes you to get across the map. So this is the Nuketown map. You could do Rebirth Island. You could speed this up here to see. Pretty much all these SMGs are really close to each other. We've got compare our aim down sight speed times with these builds. Again, it's going to give us a visualization of this. We can do sprint to fire as well. So the Jackal's got a really good sprint to fire, which is one of the reasons which makes it such a strong SMG. Again, lots more ratings here. And then we've got the dynamism chart here, which is a beautiful picture of myself, which this is showing the hip fire spread of all these guns. All of these are 100% accurate. As we back up, you're going to see a lot of the SMGs they're pretty similar to each other though in this department. Now, one thing is, if you are a free user, so most of this stuff, these are iridescent premium features here. If you're a free user though, you are still going to get the time to kill chart. You're still going to be able to see your base stats, but all of these other things are going to be locked and you won't be able to see. As you guys can probably tell, we've put an insane amount of time and effort into building this website. So if you guys are interested, if you want to sign up for iridescent, it is $14 a month, but if you use a code of a creator, like you can use my code TCaptainX, it saves you 20% off every month. And I know that might still seem expensive. I totally get it, but you have to remember a COD bundle is typically 20 bucks. So this is less than a COD bundle per month. It's also a great way of supporting us because we've just put in so much time and effort into building this and bringing this really valuable tool to you guys. So if I were to rate these from top 5, I'm probably going Jackal at number 1. Number 2, I'm probably going with the PP919. As you saw, it rated really well in that versus simulator. It's got super low recoil and good range. After that, it starts to become a little bit more of a toss-up. I'm probably going to go C9 at 3, KSV at 4, Tonto at 5, and then the Compact at 6. We did not get a chance to get the weapon data stats on the new SOG SMG, so stay tuned. That'll probably be coming in the next day or two. All right, now let's look at the long-range TTK here. I'm going to zoom in again so that we can get a little bit better view here, and you're going to see for long range the Goblin MK2 actually has by far the fastest TTK at 649. But remember, the Goblin is a single fire gun, so one, you have to make sure you're achieving that max fire rate, which it is very possible with this gun, but single fire guns are just harder to use. So you can't always expect to actually achieve this time to kill. Now after that, the AK comes in second, and then very closely behind we have the GPR and the XM4 here. Now the AK, it's got a moderate amount of recoil, but both the XM4 and GPR are pretty low recoil. So based off that, I think especially on Resurgence, Area 99 and Rebirth Island, that the GPR and XM4 are probably going to be the top 2 options. Now, after that, the Model L and the Ames are a little bit slower time to kill, but both of these guns are very low recoil. So those, if you're looking for a low recoil gun, or if you're playing Urzikstan, you want something that's a little bit better at ranges, those will also be very good options. We can also change this TTK on paper to expected TTK. And what this does here is it is actually going to factor in things like our recoil and bullet velocity, and it's going to adjust that TTK based off of the accuracies and recoil. So guns that have really bad recoil, they're going to do worse on this. Guns with better recoil, they're going to start to do a little bit better. And when we look at the with this, the XM4 starts to kind of be the front runner minus the Goblin. Again, the Goblin is a single fire gun. It's going to be really hard to actually achieve these TTKs. We probably need to find a way to kind of penalize this more in our algorithm here. But XM4, looking really, really nice once we factor in that recoil. And then when we look at the versus simulator, again, that Goblin is doing really well because that TTK is just so good. We're probably gonna have to make some tweaks to our algorithm again, like I said, because since it's a single fire gun, it's probably not that achievable to actually get that time to kill, but it's definitely possible if you're really hitting your shots. But after that, again, like I said, GPR and XM4 are kind of the top 2, and then we've got some other guns in here. Now, if we switch this from small map to a big map, I'm gonna take a guess that it might change a little bit. And actually the GPR jumps up to number 1 when we do big map. We can run this a few times and we might get some different results here. Looks like Goblin mostly, but the GPR sometimes when we rerun it does jump up as the number 1. So I won't go through all this like crazy. I definitely encourage you guys to check out the website for yourself, but there are lots more stats here, damage for mag, all that good stuff. If you are wanting to check out attachments here, so when you are on the website here, if we go to the builds page, you can filter by lots of different things here. And all of these guns are going to have different names. They're going to have their score, and then they're going to have their attachments. Just click the attachments button, bam, you've got your attachments. Now, if you are a free user, if you're not an iridescent member, you're not going to see the build scores, but you will still see all builds and all of their attachments. So previously, the old way we did it is we were like hiding some of the builds, but now everyone, no matter if you're free or a premium user, you can see all the builds and all the attachments. Now, I do want to mention that the MW2 and MW3 guns have not been updated yet. So you're going to see some of these look like they're scoring super well, like they're better than these guns, but that's probably not true. We've still working on getting all this updated. Again, at the time of making this video, the game's only been live for less than 24 hours. So in the next day or two, we will have the site hopefully fully updated and completely intact, and we will keep adding more and more builds as well. Another really cool feature, if you're a premium member, you can create your own builds. And as you create builds, you can actually get live stats, and then you can compare those side by side with your own custom builds. So if you're like, I want to see what my build is stacked up to the GG's build, we can do that. So, and we also support the Gunfighter perk. So if you want to add 8 attachments, bam, there you go. 8 attachments, you click everything, and we can build out a really quick one here for the aims here. We'll just kind of build it out here, a rough way of what's probably a good 8 attachment build here. Heavy stock, we'll go with the vertical foregrip, and we'll go recoil springs here. That's going to automatically spit out a score for it, and it's going to score it here with all these different things. Now, one thing I want to point out is some of these grades of where they are, like whether it's an A or an S or F, this might change a little bit over the next few days because we have to make tweaks to our algorithm since the new data, the new guns just came out, and it's kind of shifted how the stats kind of like minimums and maximums are. And again, you're going to get a TTK here, a TTK there. And if you want, you can name your own build, you can save it. And then once you save it here, and here, let me go ahead and save it. So Ames Gunfighter, we'll call it. I'm going to save the build. And then you're going to see it's going to post in the feed. I just posted this one. Again, I've got all the attachments here as well. And if we go up to my profile, there it is right there on my profile with the attachments. And this, by the way, if you're looking for specifically my builds as the days and weeks come on, I will have all my builds on my profile right here that you guys can follow, and you can sort by my ARs, my battle rifles, you can sort by the different game, you can sort by 5 attachments versus gunfighter attachments, and much, much more. And then if you want, you can add your own builds to your chart, and we can compare the builds that you make, and then we can add builds from the official GGs or other creators or whoever, and you could compare, again, compare everything, compare the TTKs, all that good stuff. So if I were to rate the assault rifles here, number 1 is tough here between the XM4 and the GPR here. I really can't go. I'm gonna say it's a tie, 1 and 2, XM4 between GPR here. I did not really get to use the Goblin much today. Again, I think that one's probably not truly as good as it seems because it's just going to be hard to actually get those TTKs. But if you're a really high skilled player, it could be good. So I'll put that at like a 3 with an asterisk. After that, I'm going to probably say like Ames at 4, Model L at 5, and then the AK at 6. The AK has really good TTKs. It could be good on Resurgence, but it's just got a decent amount more recoil than everything else. AS Val is really not that good, especially as a long range. It might be like an okay sniper support, but the TTKs are not that impressive and it doesn't have very good recoil. And unfortunately, I did not get to unlock or test the Krig C. So again, that gun's probably going to be pretty good, but we will have data on that in the next day or two. So stay tuned. All right, guys, so I'm going to cover the loadouts here. And for right now, I'm kind of building all of my guns roughly the same, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing. So for all of my ARs, I'm preferring the Willis 3X optic. And then under the reticle here, for multiplayer, it's just going to be this red minimal. But for zombies, it gives you a purple one here. It's just a little bit cleaner of a sight. There's also the Warzone one, which is a green one, which is a really nice one. This minimal one has kind of been my favorite of all the different optics, and that's again under the 3X. You also can do the Jason Armory 2X. This one's very nice, well, especially if you're playing Resurgence. For the muzzle, either compensator or ported compensator both feel really good. The ported compensator you unlock a lot later. So if you've got it, I think you can go ported comp. Otherwise, comp, you kind of have to play between the two. And we'll get more data on these on which one we actually think is better here soon. Obviously, you could go suppressor, but suppressors don't really help our recoil or anything in this game. Now, for the barrel, I think generally the reinforced barrel is going to be the best option because this boosts both our range and bullet velocity. But a lot of these guns, you unlock it really late. So in the meantime, I'm probably going to lean towards the bullet velocity barrel, which is the gain twist barrel. But the long barrel is fine as well if you want to go that route. For the under barrel, I think vertical foregrip is probably your best bet on the majority of these guns. However, I also do like a lot the precision foregrip because this also helps our aiming idle sway, which a lot of the sway in this gun when you're just aiming is really, really bad in this game, especially if you're a mouse and keyboard player. So try that one out as well and see if you like it. And then the majority of these guns, the extended mag 2, which is usually like that 60 round mag for most of these guns, is usually the way to go, especially if you're in trios and quads. If you're playing solos or duos, you can probably get away with the extended mag, or maybe even just playing the flip mag if you're playing solos. Now, if we're gonna go with a gunfighter build here, what I'd recommend for the rear grip on assault rifles is probably the quick draw grip. Since this is gonna be our long range gun, we don't really need to be sprintifying too much on these. For the stock, I like the heavy stock or the balanced stock for both of these, just because heavy stocks can help with flinch resistance a lot. Balance will give you better mobility. You can also go combat here. So I think heavy is probably going to be the easier one for a true long range build. I'm going to skip the laser. And then for the fire mod, I'm probably going to go recoil springs on both of these for less recoil. or you could also choose to go with overpressured for better bullet velocity, but I think most people will prefer recoil springs, and that would be my Gunfighter build. And again, basically all my ARs, I'm building the same as this for now. Then for SMGs, so this is the Jackal PDW, which like I said, is probably gonna be the pretty dominant close range meta for right now. Muzzles, again, I do like to run suppressors on a lot of my SMGs, but if you want better recoil, definitely go compensator, maybe ported comp if you have it unlocked. For the barrel, I would say reinforced again is probably going to be our best option. Again, it unlocks really late, so either long barrel or the bullet velocity barrel are going to be good options. I'm skipping an under barrel on this for now since I'm running the compensator. Extended mag 1 is usually all I need on my SMGs, but 2 is a good option as well. It's just going to slow your mobility some more. I'm still testing around on my rear grips. I'm liking the commando grip because it gives us a combination of ADS and sprint to fire, but I've got to play a little bit more around with the ergonomic and CQB grips because these help our slide to fire speeds and dive to fire, which means we can start to shoot during slide cancels a little bit sooner here. So either of these, and you can't go wrong with really any of those rear grips, to be honest. And then for the stock, no stock is good, but if you have the balanced stock unlock, I really like this one a lot. Helps our movement speed, and it also helps our aim walking movement speed or our strafe speed, which is very valuable in SMGs. If you're a mouse and key player, I'd probably say either take off the barrel or the stock for an optic if you prefer to run an optic on this kind of build. And then if we're going Gunfighter on this, for the under barrel, vertical foregrip is going to be best for pure recoil, but if you've got it unlocked, the Ranger foregrip gives us recoil and sprinting speed, which is a great option. Now laser, you could definitely run steady aim laser, get some better hip fire, but no, it will be visible. So you might want to leave that off if you're going Gunfighter. And then fire mods, I'd probably say go recoil springs here. Rapid fire is really not that great because although it increases your fire rate, it actually hurts our damage. So I don't think it really makes sense to run rapid fire because of the penalties to our damage. So I would probably say just go with recoil springs for that better recoil, or maybe overpressured as well. And then you can either use an optic or that laser, depending on what you want to do for that last attachment. And again, basically all the SMGs I'm building the same. The only one that's different is the PP919. I'm actually going with the fast mag 1 or 2 because its default mag is so big. So I like to do that instead. Now for now, as far as what I'm doing with my loadouts here, the way I'm doing this is I'm running stims. Stims give a nice movement buff in this game. I'm going throwing knives because I mostly play Resurgence. For my perks, I've been going Dexterity, Tracker, and Alertness. Now I don't have Quick Fix unlocked, but I think Quick Fix would be a good option as well. Maybe Sprinter as well for that unlimited attack sprint. And then as far as Gunfighter versus Overkill, the best way to do this is you want to have a long range Gunfighter, a close range Gunfighter, and then an Overkill class with both of them. If you're in a spot where you can buy one of your Gunfighters and get it on your loadout, you can then buy a Gunfighter gun at the buy station for $6 grand. So it's going to be more costly, but you're going to get 2 8 attachment guns that way. But if not, if you're in a bind, you don't have the money, just get your Overkill and you're going to have 2 5 attachment guns and be totally fine. All right, so again, guys, highly recommend you check out our website, ggs.ai. If you decide to sign up for Iridescent, I'd recommend you use code TCaptainX. It'll save you 20% off every month. And yeah, stay tuned for a lot more, guys. The site will be getting updated over the next days and weeks, and I'll keep you updated. Come check out a stream, say hi. I appreciate y'all, and I'm gonna go to bed.